You're listening to the Domenick Nati Show. News, gossip, celebrity interviews with limited knowledge and accuracy in sports and politics. And now, your host, celebrity publicist, Domenick Nati.
That's right! It's Friday, and it is time for the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio in Chicago. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to do The Entrepreneurs, another great concept that they have. And then after that, I have an exclusive interview with UFC five-time champion Randy Couture. Randy Couture, Hall of Fame MMA fighter. I'm going to ask him about some different stuff. I'm going to ask him what he thinks of Conor McGregor possibly fighting Mayweather. Ask him about another Expendables movie, if that's happening. I'm going to get his thoughts on Donald Trump. And then I'm going to get to the bottom of his beef with UFC owner Dana White. It's full of gossip. You don't want to miss this. First, we're going to go to the Entrepreneurs. And then right after that, I'm going to talk to Randy. So keep it here, the Domenick Nati Show.
You're listening to the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio.
Well, welcome back to the Domenick Nati Show. Today I have another episode of The Entrepreneurs. Sam and Sean, thank you guys again for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having it.
So, I wanted to have them back, but I feel like I don't really know them that much. So,
we think we're trendsetters. We're blazing down the desert. Yeah. We've got horses. We've got shotguns.
Yeah.
Wearing assless caps.
Yeah.
And we're just heading directly into that sun, and we're saying we don't care.
Is there another kind of chaps? Is there assful chaps?
There might be. There might be a different type of chap.
I just wasn't sure about that.
I don't want to get off topic.
Yeah,
that's a really great question.
This might be another business idea, by the way.
Assful chaps?
Just throw one more idea out. Come on, guys.
Should we talk about the hunting thing? Have you ever been hunting?
No, I don't.
Or outdoorsy? Do you go hiking in the winter or anything like that?
I'm going to say yes because I feel pressure.
Well, when you go out hunting, you wear your jeans or, you got clothes on and you put gloves on your hands to keep yourself warm, right? Mm-hmm. You put socks on your feet.
Check. We've got hands. We've got feet.
What other extremity are we missing?
I don't know.
Think about it.
Your lips, of course.
No. I pointed down. I'm pointing down at my penis.
Our lips are our whistle.
It's a very big problem in the hunting world. Is cold penis. It's a heated sock that fits over the penis. We're calling it the hot rod.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
This might go really well. We could package this. We were down in Miami recently, and we noticed all these men wearing these nice French cut, Speedo-looking type of things, and I'm very good with a thimble and a needle, and I went ahead and quickly redesigned a pair of swim trunks that I had, and I came up with something I thought was ingenious, which is where you take the shaft, and it's got its own compartment.
I did on the beach, right? Looking at these guys, and this is something.
I'm looking at these guys
real close. I was surprised how close he was getting.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
May I stare at you for a second?
He was probably like, "Why do you have a thimble?"
Yeah.
Let me get in there and
he was
take
like,
a look.
"What smells like cheese?"
But think about this. This is a two-compartment pair of swim trunks.
That's hot.
Exactly. And I thought we should call these hot cocks.
We could do a BOGO on that.
Buy one, get one.
Mm.
Oh, man, you guys.
Buy a rod, get a cock.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks again. Always a pleasure. And we're going to be back right after this break with more of the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio.
Hey, this is Riff Raff, and you listen to the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio.
Do you have a business and are looking for a creative and effective way to market your product or services? Are you an entertainer or recording artist looking for a captive audience to display your talent to? The Domenick Nati Show is now offering on-air commercial advertising for as low as $50. Your product or talent will be presented by celebrity publicist Domenick Nati and be seen on our social media accounts and on iHeartRadio and select stations throughout the country. Send us a message on social media at Dom Nati Show or email DomenickNatiShow@gmail.com for more information. The Domenick Nati Show. Maximum exposure, minimum censorship. You're listening to The Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio.
Okay, welcome back to the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio in Chicago. I've been telling you all show that we're going to have him, and he's on the show now. You guys know who I'm talking to. The man himself, Randy Couture. Randy, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Thank you so much for being on the show. I have a lot of fans telling them about this. They're very excited. So let me just jump right in. What are you working on these days that you can discuss?
A lot of talk about Expendables 4 right now, and waiting on a script and projected start dates sometime next spring. So obviously going to be very excited to be part of the cast again and be involved with another Expendables installment.
Now, America, obviously, we have a new president coming up next year. Do you have any opinions? Like, what do you think about our new president, Donald Trump?
I feel like we have a pretty dang successful businessman who, people can criticize or say whatever they want, but he has understands the system, the taxes and everything else, and how business works. So I would assume that he'd be able to hopefully create some better trade deals, bring some jobs back to this country, balance the checkbook for this country, and get us back on track in a lot of ways. And I'm hopeful that that's going to happen. I felt like corruption and all the other stuff that's been going on, and I think that Hillary Clinton kind of epitomized that with all the scandals and things that she's been involved in. So I'm kind of happy things have gone the way they are, but I think we're still standing on wooden foot with a lot of trepidation to see how all this unfolds. And, the freaking protests and all the other crap that's going on, it's really disturbing, kind of the one-sidedness of what's been happening. And that's my opinion. I don't really like making public statements about that sort of thing. I've seen a bunch of actors and celebrities do that sort of thing, certainly through this campaign process, and it just it's frankly it's a little disgusting. Why should anybody else's opinion weigh any more than anybody else's? It shouldn't. It doesn't. And just because a celebrity has millions of followers on Facebook and all this other crap doesn't mean anything.
So do you think that celebrities are abusing their platform to sway votes? Do you think that that's inappropriate?
I just don't think that. I don't think that a celebrity's view or opinion should weigh any more than anybody else's. And I think that the whole state of California tends to be pretty liberal. The industry itself is pretty liberal. Another reason why I tend to keep my mouth shut, because I'm one of few guys that is more of a conservative.
Would you consider yourself like a Trump supporter then? Like, would you take on that identity?
Well, I've met the man. I've met the man on a few occasions. So I have a little personal experience with him. I would say that I'm a Trump supporter. I certainly wasn't a supporter of Hillary and a lot of the things that she stood for. Honestly, I would definitely have to say that I've been a Trump supporter. I think any established politician is caught in the system.
All right, we'll shift back to MMA. Now you're 53 years old. You haven't fought in 5 years. Is there any chance that you would fight one more time?
No chance. It doesn't make any sense for me to obviously my phone started ringing when Fedor came out of retirement, and that was the fight I chased for quite a while. When he was ranked number 1 in the world and I was ranked number 2 in the world, that fight made a whole lot of sense back then. I don't think it makes much sense now. Like you said, I haven't been in fight shape in 5.5 years. Wouldn't make much sense to try and climb back into fight shape and step back up there. I did what I did. I got out at the right time. The sport's changed in a lot of ways. I'd probably have to go to to battle with the UFC over the contract and what the contract says again to make to fight. I probably wouldn't want to fight for them. I wouldn't want to wear a uniform.
Now, let me ask you about this. Conor McGregor won a big fight over the weekend. What are your thoughts on him? Is he good for the sport? Is he overrated? And could you have beaten Conor in your prime?
Well, Conor's nowhere near my weight class, and Conor would probably be the first one to say, "Oh, I'll fight him. I want to fight him," because that's what he does. I certainly don't think he's bad for the sport. I think he's using his mouth to market himself. He's talked his way into getting a title shot, probably by most people's estimation in the rankings before he really deserved one. But he backed it up and he pulled it off. And I feel for him the day that he doesn't back it up, because he's probably going to get a bunch of people that pile on and talk all kinds of trash, kind of what we saw with Ronda Rousey. I mean, everybody was a Ronda Rousey fan until the second she lost to Holly Holm, and then they piled on like crazy. And unfortunately, she had been fairly brash in some of her interviews and some of the things that she pulled. Not shaking hands with people and stuff like that created a bit of that environment.
Now, do you think that Conor should fight Mayweather, and what difficulties would Conor have in a boxing match? And who do you think would win?
Well, I understand why he's doing that. I mean, look at what Mayweather got paid for his last fight. Wouldn't anybody who's in the fight industry want to get paid $40 million? Or even a portion of that. Obviously, Conor probably won't make what Mayweather fights. And, Mayweather set those pay-per-view numbers pretty high, and the kind of money, he's doing exactly what we need to be doing as mixed martial artists, and that's controlling our own destiny a little bit. He's getting a much better shake from those promotions that promote his fights in the lion's share of the money that's generated from those fights that he fights on. And so why wouldn't Conor use his voice and his position right now in MMA to try and make that happen? Now, you want to break that fight down technically and tactically. I don't think that's a wise idea. Conor's striking is good, but he's not a world-class boxer. So to enter into a world-class boxing match is kind of what James Toney thought he was going to do, going the other way, coming into an MMA fight with a top-notch MMA fighter. It didn't fare so well. And I suspect that same thing is going to be true with Conor if he steps in with Floyd Mayweather in purely a boxing competition. Now, if Floyd has frankly the balls to step into the cage and fight Conor, it'll be a different story the other way. I think Conor will tear him up, and it'd be the exact opposite. But you definitely have to give the nod to Mayweather, and it probably will be a life lesson for Conor if he fights Mayweather in a boxing match.
Now, let me talk, kind of clear something up once and for all. Your issues with the UFC, was that a contract issue? Like, what exactly was the issue that created this?
I don't have issues with the UFC or Dana White. Okay. Dana White has issues with me. From the day they bought the company back in 2000, I battled with them through my management over ancillary rights and language in the contracts. I had good management that came from the entertainment industry that understood what ancillary rights were and what they were worth, and fighters were basically being forced to sign contracts that signed all that stuff over to the promotion. If people don't understand what an ancillary right is, it's your ability to write a book, to be involved in your own video game, to go and do a movie, to do all these other things based on the brand that you are as an athlete. They felt like they earned the right or deserved to control that stuff because they're giving the fighters the platform to go out and build their brand. And I feel like there needed to be a fair shake and an even trade. Yeah, I'm stepping into that cage and fighting and helping you build a brand as the promotion, as the UFC or Bellator or World Series of Fighting. Those fighters are the ones that they're the product. And so they deserve a fair shake there. And that was always the struggle and the battle with the promotion with Zuffa and the UFC with myself. And I was on the outs with them on several occasions. I wanted to fight Fedor when he was ranked number 1 in the world. That's the guy I want to fight. And they couldn't come to an agreement with him. And the language in the contract, the way I interpreted it, would have allowed me to go make that fight happen somewhere else because they couldn't agree to make that fight happen. And so that was the challenge. That was the rub. And then a lot of that animosity and their ill feelings towards me trying to get the best deal and get the things I needed carried over to when I retired, to when I was doing some commentary for Fox and I wanted to get a better job with the company. And then the Spike TV deal came along, and it was a very lucrative deal for both scripted and unscripted television potential with me and Spike TV. And when I signed that deal, Dana kind of went off the reservation and has banned me from the promotion since then.
Are you banned completely from going to UFC events?
According to Dana, yes.
Okay. So he's saying that so that he's calling you, you're dodging his calls, you wouldn't pick up, and
he's never called me.
He's
never called me. When did he ever try? He hasn't texted me. My number hasn't changed in over 10 years. He hasn't texted me or called me. He hasn't reached out to me since he went off on me, 4 years ago for signing the Spike deal. I haven't had word one from him or with him. I haven't seen him anywhere. I haven't talked to him anywhere. And my phone number hasn't changed since 2005. So he's got my number. He knows how to reach me. I live in the same town he lives in. He knows where my gym is. He has a gym number. I mean, I'm not hard to find.
No,
I don't have an issue with him. I see him pretty clearly. He's the president of the organization. The organization's changing. Obviously, they're letting a lot of guys go to close a couple offices. WME is in charge now. Zeus is not in charge, but they've kept Dana on as the president. I don't have an issue with him. I never had an issue with him. I tried to reach out with him and sit down and have dinner with him when the Spike deal came across my desk and try to, at that time I was working for Fox on 4 shows a year. It wasn't a terribly lucrative deal, but I was happy to be involved in the sport, still commentating. And, I wanted to sit down with him and try and get a better position, a better job with the company, or let him know that this deal from Spike TV was a very good deal. It was a good deal for me to continue to act and be involved in television. And I think the thing that set him off was, the first show they wanted me to do was be a coach on Fight Master, with Greg Jackson and other guys that were working directly with the UFC and the company. But I'm the one that he decided to go off on and call all kinds of things. And, so the issue is really his. It's not mine. I never had an issue with him. Just trying to do what's best for me moving forward in my future. And I don't think that he really cares about any of that.
Now, with Ryan,
Ryan is fighting for Bellator. He's got a great contract and a good deal with Bellator. So he fought twice for the UFC, and then the UFC let him go. His fights didn't go very well. Of course, that's around the same time that I signed the Spike deal, so I was banned from cornering Ryan or being involved in going to any of those fights with Ryan. And I've been a big part of Ryan's process in preparation for fights. So I wasn't very fair to Ryan, but again, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, Dana really only cares about Dana and what he's doing. He doesn't really care about me or Ryan or any of the other fighters.
So where can your fans, what's the best way for them, like what social media, what platform you think is the best way for them to kind of keep up with you and everything you're doing?
Randy_Couture on Twitter, Randy the Natural Couture on Facebook is the fan page. There's a personal page too, but it's maxed out. So I can't really take on any personal fans. And then XC Natch on Instagram, which stands for Extreme Couture, and the natural Extreme Couture. It's XC Natch at Instagram. So those are my social media platforms. I'm on there a lot. That's the place to find me.
Awesome. Randy, thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
You bet, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hi, this is Dr. Miami, and you're listening to the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio.
Do you have a business and are looking for a creative and effective way to market your product or services? Are you an entertainer or recording artist looking for a captive audience to display your talent to? The Domenick Nati Show is now offering on-air commercial advertising for as low as $50. Your product or talent will be presented by celebrity publicist Domenick Nati and be seen on our social media accounts and on iHeartRadio and select stations throughout the country. Send us a message on social media at Dom Nati Show or email DomenickNattyShow@gmail.com for more information. The Domenick Nati Show, maximum exposure, minimum censorship. We're back to the Domenick Nati Show on iHeartRadio and Intellectual Radio.
And we're back. What did you guys think? Right. Anyway, I thought there was a good interview with Randy. Pretty juicy. Got to ask him some different stuff. I did not know that he was a Trump supporter. Interesting. But that is it for this week. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see you next Friday right here, Intellectual Radio, iHeartRadio, the Domenick Nati Show. We'll see you next week.